How's it going, guys, and welcome to today's video. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to diagnose and rectify if you have a map sensor fault. I'm going to be showing you the step-by-step process on how you would diagnose a map sensor. This is a 4-pin, but the same application applies to a 3-wire map sensor as well. So the very first thing in this is, how does a map sensor actually work? What does it do and what faults can happen if it actually fails? Now, a map sensor works by this little item in the middle here flexing depending on the vacuum that's on it. So less vacuum when accelerating will cause a resistance difference. That resistance difference means voltage changes. In conjunction with other information gathered from sensors, this then alters the fuel injection through the ECU. Now, if this was to be faulty, the items you can expect to happen because of that are fuel economy is one of them problems that can happen. You can also have a poor idle or overall performance of the engine is not what you expect. You could have bad acceleration under load or a hesitation at different speeds. All of those faults are related to a map sensor problem. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to be splitting this video into two parts. The first part is going to be on a Ford Ranger, which this particular sensor came out of. The second part of the video is going to be showing you on a Ford Focus how you would test that component in place using your multimeter and a vacuum gauge, getting exact readings and knowing if it is faulty or not. But firstly, we're going to start with this faulty sensor that I had. This came out of a Ford Ranger. As I said, it logged a fault code of P0107. That fault code means you have low voltage in the map sensor. If you had a reading of 0.5 or less, you would flag that fault code. For example, if you had a P0108 fault code, it would show a high voltage. A high voltage is 4.5 volts or above, and that's when that fault code gets logged. So for a P0107 to be logged, we know the voltage has to be low. But why is it going to be logged? What are the items that can cause it to be logged? On the 5-volt reference side, you can have a short to ground, or you can have an open/high resistance fault. On the signal circuit side, you could have a short to ground. Any of those items will cause that P0107 fault to be logged. When diagnosing this one, I was able to use the scan tool to be able to do a lot of these checks. So what I wanted to do is, because I know everybody doesn't have access to a expensive scan tool to be able to do map sensor checks, I decided to use a Ford Focus and pull out the map sensor on that and do very simple checks using a cheap vacuum gauge that anybody can purchase, and also a multimeter that most people who are working on cars at home would own. Both items very cheap, and both will give you a 100% certainty if the map sensor is faulty or not. Typical map sensors range from between 0.5 of a volt to 4.5 volts. And a thing of note before you condemn any map sensor is to make sure that you know that you have a mechanically sound engine, that you have no air intake leaks or faults, and that includes the throttle body being heavily built up with carbon. Some applications can cross over by having any of those items. It can log one of these fault codes to show up. Okay, so the difference between a 3-wire and a 4-wire. A 3-wire has the 5-volt reference wire, it has a low reference or a ground wire, and the signal wire is also there. The additional 4th wire is the intake air temperature, and that is the only difference between a 3 and a 4-wire. You are getting a temperature reading on the 4-wire map sensors as well. To remove the map sensor, I first disconnect the electrical connector. I get my 1/2-inch drive and I start to remove the 2 nuts that are attaching that plate in position. That plate also holds the wiring loom, and it has some push button clips that need to be removed. I use my trim tool here and just pull those clips out of position. Once I have them all popped out of the way, I remove the two nuts by hand, just spin them out freely. I think there are 14 or 15, I can't remember 100%. Once they're out of position, there is still a 10mm earth cable and the actual loom routing clip here. I just use my tool to pry that out of position as well. A flat screwdriver will do the same. And lastly, that 10mm up in the corner earth cable, I use my impact to take that away out of position. After that is removed, the plate is free to come out, and we have full access and view to that map sensor. I use my impact just to take that 10mm out of position as well, and then I can remove the map sensor. I have a quick look at the part numbers in correspondence to the new one, making sure that they are correct before install. Everything is good, so I fit the new map sensor. Now I'm not going to go through every step by step on the install. It's very straightforward. I use my 1/4" drive to tighten down that. I don't like using impacts when reinstalling. It's fine on removal, but I always use my ratchets when reinstalling afterwards. After I have the plate put in position, I just put everything back as I removed it, and then the next stage is bringing it for a test drive after I clear the fault codes. I go through, clear the fault codes, and I run the vehicle in the workshop for a small period of time while checking the live data. After I'm happy with that, I bring the vehicle out onto the road for a further test drive. The test drive consists of different parameters of driving, under load, acceleration, and generally I bring it for about a 5-minute test drive with the likes of a map sensor fault. And once I am happy and no fault codes have recorded, the job is now complete and it's ready to give back to the customer. So in this Ford Focus, it also has a 4-wire map sensor, and it is down on the lower side down here, so it's in behind right down here. So I now have the air filter box removed out of the way, and I'm going to show you on this side. So you now have clear visibility down to where the map sensor is located in this Ford Focus. A T25 Torx head is what is holding it in position, and I'm going to remove that out of its current location now, so I can get better access to showing you how to test that component. But it's down on the lower side. I removed the electrical connector. It's just a push in and pull back type clip. And I'm going to set about taking out that T25 Torx now as well. Now I'm up under the lower side of the engine. The electrical connector is disconnected, and you can see the map sensor location. So I'm going to be taking this off from the lower side because it's got easier access than coming at it from the top side. Okay, so I have all this set up now, and if you look down here, I'll just zoom. Number 1 and number 4 I have back probed, and I have the map sensor reconnected out of position of the vehicle, but reconnected in the harness. So what I do now is with the yellow one and the green that I have used on my back probes, I get the multimeter and I get a reading off that. Now on the end of the map sensor, I now have a pipe which I have connected to my vacuum gauge. The vacuum gauge will start off at 0 Hg and we will be going up along the reading, and as it goes higher you expect the voltage on the multimeter to be decreasing. With this test, this should be starting off at high 4 volts, and as the inches of mercury in the gauge increase, that voltage should be decreasing. So I'm going to set that up now and then I'm going to show you the readings. So I have the black lead already connected. Always make sure that you have a good connection. So that's reading over 4 volts on that. Now I will have this side by side so you will be able to see it. So at 5 we have 3.3. At 10 we have 2.7. At 15 we have 1.9. And at 20 we have 1.3. Now that is a conclusive test to show you that the map sensor is working. You have a nice smooth transition as the voltage drops as you are applying vacuum, and when I release the vacuum pressure off now, it will result in it going back to over 4 again. Gauge reading 0, back over 4. So that's a conclusive test if you had it, to be able to show if the map sensor is working correctly or not. Now the other test I want to do before I put this all back together is to show you the 5 volt reference. I'm going to back probe on the 5 volt and show you that that should be a constant. It shouldn't be varying. Between 4.8 and 5.2 volts is the correct reading on that test. I'm going to set that up now. So I've now back probed on the middle 2 wires as well, but the one we want to be looking at is the yellow one here. So as I zoom in, you can see that yellow one is the wire I have the red lead in the multimeter connected to. And if I go to the multimeter side here, I've got my black lead and I'm going to connect that over to the earth on the battery, and we have 5 volts. So like I said, on that 5 volt reference, anything between 4.8 and 5.2 is absolutely fine, and that is how you test it. That is how you know if you've got correct voltage going down to it, if you have a correct reading using a vacuum gauge. Another test you can do is on the signal wire. You will see the voltage increasing and decreasing as well. If you didn't have a vacuum gauge with the map sensor in position, you can either do that with back probing on the pins like I did, or else having a scan tool and reading the data. And that is how you test the map sensor and make sure that it is fully functional. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please like, share, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.